There was, as in the fairy tales, as never in the time,
LUCEAFARul.
there was a famous royal blood, a most beautiful maid. She was her parents' only child, bright as the sun at noon, and like the Virgin midst the saints, and among stars the moon. From the deep shadow of the vaults her step now she directs toward the window. At its knock bright Lucifer expects. She looks as in the distant seas he rises, darts his rays, and leads the blackish loaded ships on the wet moving ways. To look at him every night her soul, her instincts spur, and as he looks at her for weeks, he falls in love with her. And as on her elbows she leans her temple and her whim, she feels in her heart and soul that she falls in love with him. And every night his stormy flames more stormily renew, when in the shadow of the castle she shows to his bright view. And to her room with her slow steps he bears his steps and aims, weaving out of his sparkles cold the toil of shaking flames. And when she throws upon her bed her tired limbs and reposes, he glides his hand along her breast, and her sweet eyelash closes. And from her mirror on her shape a beam has sprayed and burns, on her big eyes that beat through closed, and on her face that turns. Her smiles view him, the mirror shows him trembling in the nook, for he is plunging in her dreams so that their souls may hook. She speaks with him in sleep and sighs, while her heart-swelled veins drum.
O sweet lord of my fairy nights, why comest thou not? Come! Descend to me, Hyperion. Thou canst glide on a beam, enter my dwelling and my mind, and over my life gleam.
And he listens and trembles and still more for her love craves, and as quick as the lightning he plunges into the waves. The water in that very spot moves, rolling many rings, and out of the unknown dark depth a superb young man springs. As on a threshold of the still his hasty steps he leads, holds in his hand a staff with at its top a crown of reeds. A young voivode he seems to be, with soft and golden hair. A blue shroud binds in a knot on his naked shoulder fair. The shade of his face is a wan, and thou canst see throughout, a handsome dead man with live eyes that throw their sparkles out. From my sphere hardly I come to follow thy call and thee. The heaven is my father and my mother is the sea, so that I could come to thy room and look at thee from near, with my light reborn from waves my fate toward thee I steer. Oh come, my treasure wonderful, and thy will leave aside, for I am Lucifer up from, and thou wouldst be my bride. In my palace of coral I'll take thee forevermore, and the entire world of the sea will kneel before thy door.
Oh, thou art beautiful as but in dreams and angel shows. The way thou hast oped for me is forever close. Thy port and mien and speech are strange, life thy gleams don't impart. For I'm alive and thou art dead, and thy eyes chill my heart.
Days have passed since, but the North Star comes up again and stays, just as before, spreading over her his clear, translucent rays. In sleep she would remember him, and as before, whole wish for the master of the wave is clinching now her soul.
Descend to me, Hyperion, thou canst glide on a beam. Enter my dwelling and my mind, and over my life gleam.
He hears, and from the dire despair of such a woeful weird he dies, and the heavens revolve where he has disappeared. Soon in the air flames ruddy spread, whirl in their grip hold, and superb from the spasm of the chaotic valley mold. On his locks of black hair he bears his crown, a fierce fire frames. He floats as he really comes swimming in the sun's flames. His black shrouds lets develop out his arms marbly and hale. He pensively and sadly brings his face awfully pale, but his big wonderful eyes gleam chimerically deep, shows too unsatiated spasm that but into dark peep. From my sphere hardly I came to follow thy voice, thy sight. The bright sun is my father, and my mother is the night. O come and upon thy blonde hair and thy world leave aside, from I'm Hyperion from up, and thou wouldst be my bride. O come and upon thy blonde hair crowds of stars I shall crowd, and more that all of them up there thou wilt look fair and proud.
Oh, thou art beautiful as but in dreams a demon shows. The way that thou hast oped for me's forever close. The depth of my breast ache from the desire of thy fierce love. My heavy big eyes also ache when into them thine shove.
But how wouldst thou that I come down? Now this for do I lie? I am immortal, why thou art one of those that must die.
I hate big words, nor do I know how to begin my plea. And although thy discourse is clear, I don't understand thee. But if thou wantest my flamed love, and that would not be shame, come down on this temporal earth, be mortal as I am.
I'd lose my immortality for but one kiss of thine. Well, I will show thee how much too for thy fierce love I pine. Yes, I shall be reborn from sin, receive another creed. From that endlessness to which I am tied, I shall be freed. And out he went out loving a human fay. He plucked himself off from the sky, went for many a day. Meanwhile, the houseboy Catalin sly and woven gets, when he's filling with wine the cups of the banqueting guests. A page that carries step by step the trail of the queen's gown. A wandering bastard, but bold like no one in the town. He is little Cebotari that under the sun stews, watchful just like a thief, he sneaks in Katharina's views. How beautiful she grew, thinks he, a flower just to pluck. Now, Kathleen, but now it is thy chance to try your luck. And by the way, hurriedly he corners that human fay.
What's with thee, Kathleen? Let me alone, and go thy way.
No, one day to stay away from thoughts that have no fun. I want to see thee only laugh. Give me a kiss, just one.
I don't know. I could show and, believe me, retire. But for Hyperion from up, I've kept my strong desire.
If thou dost not know, I could show thee all about love's balm. Only don't give way to thy ire and listen and be calm. So, as the hunter throw the net that many birds would harm, when I stretch my left arm to thee, enlace me with thy arm. Under my eyes keep thine, and don't let them move on their wheels. And if I lift thy by the waist, thou must lift on thy heels. When I bend down my face to hold thine up must be thy strife. So to each other we could throw sweet, eager looks for life. And so that thou have about love knowledge true and plain, when I stop to kiss thee, thou must kiss me too, and again. With much bewilderment her mind the little boy's world feels, and shyly and nicely now she wills not, and now she wills. And slowly she tells him,
Since thy childhood I've known thy wit, and as thou art both glib and small, my temper thou wouldst fit. But there's Hyperion sprung from the calm of the oblivion. Thou gives horizons limitless to the sea lone and done. And secretly I close my eyes, for my eyelash tears dim, when the waves of the sea go on traveling toward him. He shines with love unspeakable, so that my pain he'd leech, but higher and higher soars, so that his hand I'd never reach. Sadly trusts from the world which from my soul his cold ray bar. I shall love him forever, and forever he'll rove far. Like the unmeasured steps my days are deep and wild. Therefore, but my nights spread a holy charm I understand no more.
Thou art the child, let's go. Through new lands our own fate let's frame. Soon they shall have trace, and forgot even our name. We shall be both wise, glad, and whole as my judgment infers. And thou wouldst not long for thy kin, nor e'en for Hyperion's. Hyperion then went out. His wings grow into heaven's dash, and on his way millenniums flee in less than a flash. Below, a depth of stars. Above the heaven stars began. He seems an endless lighting that is wandering through them. And from the cow's veils he sees how in an immense ring round him, as in the world's first day, lights from their sources spring. How springing they hem him like an ocean that swimming nears. He flees, scared by his desire until he disappears. For that region is boundless, and searching regards the voids, and time strives vainly there to come to life from the dark voids. 'Tis not, 'tis thought thirst that seeps him and which he cannot shun, 'tis depth unknown, comparable to blind oblivion. From that dark, choking endlessness into which I am furled, Father, undo me, and forever be praised in the whole world. Ask anything for this new fate, for with mine I am through. O hear my prayer, O my Lord, for Thou givest life and death too. Take back my endlessness, the fires that my being devour, and in return give me a chance to love but for an hour. I've come from chaos, I'd return to that my former nest, and as I have been brought to life from rest, I crave for rest. Hyperion, that comest from the depth with the word swarm, do not ask signs and miracles that have no name nor form. Thou wantest to count among men, take their resemblance vain, but would now the whole mankind die, men will be born again. But they are building on the wind ideals void and blind. When human waves run into graves, new waves spring from behind. Fate's persecution, lucky stars, they only are to own. Here we know neither time nor space, death we have never known. From the eternal yesterday drinks what today will drain. And if a sun dies in the sky, a sun quickens again. Reason is forever, death's though follows them like a thorn, for all are born only to die, and die to be reborn. But thou remainest wheresoe'er thou wouldest set down or flee. Thou art of the prime form and an eternal prodigy. Thou wilt now hear the wondrous voice of whose bewitched singing. Mounts woody get skipping to skies, into sea islands sinking. Perhaps thou wilt more, showing deeds thy sense of justice might. Out of the earth lambs make an empire, and settle on its height. I can give thee millions of vessels and hosts, so thou bear thy breath over all the lands, over all the oceans. I cannot give thee death, for whom thou wantest them to die. Just go and see what's worth all that is waiting there for thee on that wandering earth. His first dominion in the sky Hyperion restores, and as in his first day, his light all over again he pours. For it is evening, and the night her duty never waves. Now the moon rises quietly and shaking from the waves, and upon the path of the groves her sparkles again drone. Under the row of linden trees 2 youths sit all alone. O darling, let my blessed ear feel how thy heart's pulses beat, under the ray of thy eyes clear and unspeakably sweet. By the charms of their cold light pierce my thoughts' fairy glades, for an eternal quietness on my passion's dark shades. And there, above, remain to stop thy ooze violet stream, for thou art my first source of love, and also my last dream. Hyperion beholds how love their eyes equally charms. Scarcely his arm touches her neck, she takes him in her arms. The silvery blooms spread their smells, and their soft cascade knocks the tops of the heads of both the youth with long and golden locks. And all bewitched by love she lifts her eyes toward the fires of the witnessing Hyperion, and trusts him her desires.
Descend to me, Hyperion. Thou canst glide on a beam, enter my forest and my mine, and of my good luck gleam.
As he did it once into woods, on hills his race he urges, healing throughout so many wilds the gleaming, moving surges. But he falls not as he did once from his height into swells. What matters thee, clod of dust, if 'tis me or someone else? You live in your sphere's narrowness, and luck rules over you. But in my steady world, I feel eternal, cold, and true.